Well, Maharashtra, it's a state here and almost the size of Spain, if I'm not wrong. So, but again, I would come up with my Hindi poem, which will again relate to the audience who can understand Hindi. If not, the translations would do the part. We all take elevators, don't we, across the world? So I'll just come up with a poem wherein I describe how elevators in life are same. Straight coming to the poem, lift. कतार में खड़े आगे पीछे होते कई चेहरे, तेज आवाज में बातें करता हुआ, दूजा खींचता, मन महसूसता हुआ, तो कोई ऊपर की ओर देखता, मानो छत को भेद कर क्रांति तोड़ लाएगा। आईने में सुंदर छवि इतराती, इम्पोर्टेड जूते और महंगी गाड़ी की चाबी, किसी के परफ्यूम से आती हुई महक से होने लगी मुझे ऐठन, जलन जलन। कोई टटोलती पर्स में उमंग, अस्तित्व यादें, किसी के माथे पर सिलवटें, यों कि सच से साक्षात्कार हो। When you go for an interview, you are just tensed and nervous. कुछ हाथ थामे एक दूसरे को देखते, वादे करते अंत तक साथ रहने के। कोई एकटक घूरता बंद गेट को, उसका लक्ष्य स्पष्ट और ऊंचा जो है। किसी की मीलों घिसी चप्पल और हाथ में घिरे मिला घर से मिला एक डिब्बा बंद मोह। कोई सबसे हंसकर रिश्ते बनाता, कोई गुनगुनाता जाता अपनी धुन में रमा। सब अपनी अपनी मंजिल को टोहते, पदार्पण से निकास तक, पदार्पण से निकास तक, जन्म मृत्यु तक का पूरा फेरा। कितना सहज अनुभव है ना ये लिफ्ट का सफर। इफ यू आर लाइकिंग इट, ड्रॉप इन कमेंट्स। इफ यू आर वाचिंग मी नाउ, आई विल बी रियली हैप्पी। And as I was saying that I write in three languages, Hindi, English, and Marathi sometimes. I also experiment. So, where people ask me that what's so unique about your poetry, what do you do, whom do you read? So I read a lot of authors. I do experimental work in poetry. So here I have come up with lost forms of poetry. I have tried many forms in Hindi particularly because that's my thinking language altogether. But then I have not hesitated to try German form Elfchen. I have tried a haiku. I have tried senryu. I have tried limericks, as classic as that can be. So I would come up with something which is rarely now or a forgotten unsung hero of Hindi poetry. That's Kahamukri. That's a very sweet talk about essentially about two women talking to each other when they are looking for a girl sentiment to be understood, and women need to talk to women. Women need backing of women. But then I have converted into a contemporary style of mine, which is which goes as it's a four liner. I'll explain about this form a little bit later. ठूसे अनुभव लदा पड़ा है, कई परीक्षा दिए बड़ा है, बोझ कुछ खुद में समेटे रखता, ऐ सखी दिल ना सखी बसता. That it acts as a riddle. The first three lines shows a simile between two objects. Here it's heart and your school bag, the satchel that we carry, and both are carrying the experiences, both are giving the exams. And this is how Kahamukri happens. Lovely form. You may try in any language you write, Spanish, English, or any language that you write in, it would come up fantastic. And after this, I would also, like to share one of my poetry wherein I have spoken about the Me Too moment, which was sadly global. Why I say it's sadly because I really thought this is very Asian concept of getting Eve teased at a young age, but that was not correct. And until I grew up, I didn't know this. And every woman coming up on Facebook, I remember 15, 20 years back and coming on this. So I just came up with Oblivion. That's the title of the poem. It goes as She dragged me. She dragged me out of twilight game of ice and water. Were rules no longer same? And told me to behave. New bump on my chest. Hid a truth so grave. Cyclic restive rest. Banishment awful. Folding legs inwards. I had cried in school. Recalling the walk in the messy bazaar street. Hand like a hawk. Grope me with a hit. I shuddered in disgust in that broad daylight. Darkness in the quilt mocked my plight, hissing a guilt of being born to bleed, often since then. on feet on wheels. Shadows after me, set spine and chills. I was ice now, in those dirty waters. Known unknown, for mommy was right. Her princess was frozen. For mummy was right, her princess was frozen, learned to keep quiet, bruised oblivion of just another me too. So I wish the world would be a better place, and no girl like me had to go through this. And the young girls, I wish the world would be a better place, and we all need to take efforts for that. While I make you think all this, I would, take you through one of a very sweet poem wherein I wrote it on New Year Eve, which is like, how much is enough? So I sat with an empty jar, checking on the year gone by, being me nowhere at par, with those who were way ahead at everything that meets the eye. Their accolades, happiness, cheer, worth the envy, oh my. A perfect body, swollen bank accounts, no family woes. I sulked for a while. I sulked for a while, but then I thought to compile counted blessings that I have. A cozy room. A cozy room, a coffee and a few smiles, the text, the phone calls, the wishes umpteen. I put on the colored papers and dropped in. To my surprise, soon the jar was full in no time. Then I inked a poem that didn't perfectly rhyme. Not caring for best picture for the likes and comments. From the virtual world that sublimes. I want to count my happiness in people around me, not yours. And I mean it. I mean it. So anytime you think that somebody else is better than you, always think that you have a lot of things which only 1% can is dreaming of right now. But as human beings, if panel allows me, I would come up with this common thing which the world is facing again. That is the changes, the war, the climate, right? That's a common fight, be it India with Spain, in large or small amounts. We all are facing it, and this is my call. This is my warning call to all of us. I, the today, care a damn about climate change, ecological, political, mocking those who voice know as much as needed in FOMO. Instead, follow celebs' pompous life, tag pals in memes, click selfies, shining backdrops. AQI, jungle fire, earth spire are uncool topics, aping gaping skies at discounted price. Past conditioned me in plastics, reusable dominor, single use things. Let tomorrow choke and cough as I nod the news. So, again, a warning bell to all of us: if we don't do it now, it will be really, really late, and we would not have a safe place for our generations to come. So, as we move on, I have few minutes remaining. So, I would, kind of like again thank this virtual book fair wherein it's giving opportunity to all of us to come up and share what we think, how to express to recitals, cultural representations, because ultimately we are one world with 8 billion pesky dots. So as I said, that I grew up in India. I have done my schooling and then I did my engineering in electronics. Apart from that, I did my master of business administration. So arts was never my subject, but then it came to me that I should express my feelings. I read authors. If you ask me, Hindi being the thinking language, I have lot of people whom I have read and kind of got impressed with, inspired by. Ramdhari Singh Dinkar, fab poet again. I mean, you must read. Translations are available too. And so I would what many people read satire, many people read a genre. I would always be carried away by how people play with words and how it is nicely written. And by the way, Enrique still is my crush as I grew up. So I would, just read a small share by Javed Akhtar. He's recorded poet. He doesn't need an introduction to the world. So he writes in Urdu, and I'll just read few lines of him. मेरे अल्फाज में जो रंग है वो उसका है, मेरे एहसास में जो है वो फजा उसी की है, एक मोहब्बत की ये तस्वीर है दो रंगों में, शौक सब मेरा है और सारी हवा उसकी है, शौक सब मेरा है और सारी हया उसकी है, एक मेरे ही सिवा सबको पुकारे कोई, मैंने न पहले ही कहा था ये सदा उसी की है. If you're watching me, just give me a smile, a hands up. Okay. And if you're not watching me, watch me later and watch all of us who are there, because there are a lot of cultural programs, presentations, book presentations happening from 14 to 23rd. I'm really happy that I'm part of this. So what do I read next? Yeah, I will read a small couplet because the poetry is a little longer. It's about the woman who cannot follow the rituals now, and she's busy because of her working life. So she says to the god for prayers, भूली नहीं है मुरली की धुन, गुम हुए हैं पायल कुमकुम, चूड़ी मेहंदी मजबूर हुई है, त्योहारों से कुछ दूर हुई है, पर प्रीत वही है तुम ही समझो, अब स्पर्धा ही व्रत उसका है, निडर साहसी मत उसका है, रीत अगर वो निभा ना पाए, उसे कोई नहीं समझेगा कान्हा तुम ही समझो. And a few minutes remaining with me. So, and until the next fab poet or the artist comes. So I read to you few of the poems which were, which I thought would matter to the occasion. But then I would also want to kind of pay a tribute to the martyrs of Pulwama attack, 14 February 2019. And this day is the dark day in Indian history because we lost our soldiers. And it was a greatly condemned attack. The soldiers were sleeping, and that's really, really tragic for all of us. I had seen on TV, and I could just sense the pain of the widows of their family members, just married, about to be married. So these lines goes to them. While we are celebrating Valentine's Day, I just want to kind of request all the poets to remember this, or the writers, of course. ए कलम और न लिख गुलाबे दिल की बातें, ए कलम अब और न लिख गुलाबी दिल की बातें, क्रांति की हुंकार ही लिख कह गए वो जाते जाते, सुर्ख हुई बर्फीली चादर पुलवामा की घाटी में, व्यर्थ न हो जो लहू मिला वो केसर वाली माटी में. So never forget the bloodshed that had happened in the Saffron Valley, and that is common for anywhere across the world. Wars are over now, so I request the warmongers to please slow down and let the world be a better place. And with this, I thank International Book Confederation and Spain for inviting me to this great, great platform. And I would thank the host and the organizer. Namaste from India.